Greetings, Geechlings. Geechin Prime here with my review of One Piece Chapter 908. Reverie begins! That'll probably be his most energetic I'll be all video because I am dog tired from about multiple days of being out in the sun doing various lawn work and all that. I'm not used to it. And also, which is part of the reason why this has been delayed so long, but, also on the 23rd and for about a week, so towards the beginning of July I'll be back. I won't be able to make any videos because relatives coming over, they stay in my room because king size bed, you know. So I won't be able to use my camera and all that, so which is fine. I mean, it'll give me a break, get to meet with the family, da-da-da-da. Anyway, I've prattled on long enough. Let's move on. Okay, we have Orlumbus. He is with Columbus, I forgot to check the name, but he's writing down like his pirate deeds, like schedule, or it was planner. And I'm thinking, okay, 7 o'clock. I just folded my pajamas. Now I'm going to eat my breakfast because I have pillaging to do. 9 o'clock. Pillaging. Gonna pillage that village. And then 10 o'clock, have some nice tea from that pillage village. And then, you know, like, he goes on with the, you know, find another village, whatever, and then, like, swear his oath to Luffy yet again, all that kind of stuff, you know. And then 3 o'clock again with, let's plan out the next day. You know, something like that. Well, anyway, we start off the chapter proper. Oh yeah, last thing is, how many more of the Orlumbus things are we going to get? I thought last week was going to be the last one with him stealing the fleet, but no. Anyway, it starts off with inside the Pangaea Castle. You have the Mingling Palace. Almost everybody's gone, but given what happened to Shirahoshi last week, yeah, they're probably like, yeah, let's disperse. And plus, the meeting will be beginning in this chapter, so there's bigger matters, I guess. And we see Mancherry. She's like, oh, how are you doing, Shirahoshi? It's like, are your wounds doing good? And it's like, yes, you've done so well healing them. And everyone's like, oh, look, it's the world's largest princess and the world's smallest princess together. Ha ha ha. And I think even Mancherry was like, sorry, I was scared of you. You know, I'm like a bug. I didn't want to be squashed. Next we see, like, King Neptune, and he's still looking pretty stern after what nearly happened to his daughter. So, no qualms here, King. Like, he's like, I guess there's good and bad guys. You know, the fishmen have quite their few. You know, you got that Arlong, Punk, and Hody Jones, and Vanderdecken, and all of their crews. But there was that good guy. He was turned bad, but he turned a leaf, and I like it. And wow, what a Sumi. Good guy, him. You know, so. And then there's Jinbei, who's always been great. Anyway, he's talking with, Mosjegard. I'll probably butcher that name at some point. You know, it's like, thank you for helping us, you know, otherwise my mission would have been abandoned, you know, helping the fishermen get up to the sea level, above the ocean, whatever. Anyway, Mosjegard is like, oh, for the 7-day reverie, I'll protect the princess, you know. And just in case anything happens, you know, I might as well use my position that I was born in, you know. So he's like almost perfect protection for them. And Leo's like, oh, you mean we can get in a fight if you order it? And he's like, kinda. I mean, if a fight happens to protect the princesses, which he does mention the princesses in this thing, breaks out. It's like, I'll take responsibility, you know. No worries here. Which Joy Boy mentioned that, like, this could be like not so good for him because people of his, you know, demographic social status, yeah, social status, would probably not look, very highly on him protecting something that's more or less just a slave in their eyes. So, so he's probably not going to last much after this arc, if he even lasts the whole arc. So then you have Pell, and he's talking to Vivian. He's like, "Oh, sorry, princess, I should have been here." And she's like, "Where's Papa?" And he's like, "Oh, I gave him the letter, and he's speaking with Admiral Fujitora and Dressrosa's King Riku." And this made me think, okay, Fujitora's main plan is to abolish the warlord system. And both of these kings he is talking to at this point, Dressrosa, was controlled by one of the warlords, Doflamingo, and then Dressrosa was nearly taken over by Crocodile warlord. So maybe he'll use this as evidence to help further his cause. Anyway, then next we have the Celestial Dragon Gate. We see that it leads to the land of the gods. I would have called it like the Celestial Gardens. Home estates or some crap. Anyway, and it's like there's 3 gates. You have Pangaea Castle, and then directly across from it is the gate to the land of gods. And then you have 2 other gates on the sides. Presumably that's one gate or the other. I think it would be based on the picture, it would be the lower gate is the one that they entered in, based on the position of the Travelator as well. So they entered that and got to Pangaea, and then from there, Well, anyway, why this is brought up is because the Queen Mother of the Sorbet Kingdom, Connie, is trying to get entrance into the land of the gods, and she's being held up at the gate. And Roger guessed who this person's identity was almost immediately. I totally missed it because I thought it was another wrinkle, but no, it's an eye ring, or a ring underneath her right eye. But like the guard kind of turns her away. It's like, Queen Mother Connie, it's like, this, you can't come here. It's dangerous here. Mostly because those frickin' world nobles can do whatever the hell they want. I don't even think, like, normal royalty can even hope to even do anything against them. So, yeah, it wouldn't be good. Well, anyway, we see those slaves from the previous chapter, Charlos' slaves. They're returning with their busted up master. And, he's in his... it's like, my face. He's all beaten up, so his words are half slurred. It's like, I'll never forgive you, Master Guard, and this isn't over yet, and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, please, my lord, you mustn't talk. You'll just worsen your wounds. And the guard's like, what in the world happened here? And it's like, he needs medical attention. Open the gate. And then the gate does open, revealing his father, Rosward. And he's like, oh, so you are safe. That's good, my boy. It's like, I heard what happened and was heading over myself. And they're like, another saint? What? And then that's where little old lady just ran through the gate and no one noticed her at all. And he's like, oh, you've been reduced to this, my poor boy. And the guard's like, where'd the Queen Mother go? Now, I looked up, like, what Queen Mother was, because I was like, I know I've heard that term at some point. It means you are literally the mother of a royal. Which, what will be revealed in a minute, makes some very interesting speculations. But, anyway, we saw Rosward riding on something, much like Charlos is. He is riding on Kuma. The original Kuma. And it's like, oh God, what have they done to our poor bear boy? But he starts talking about Mos Jagard And it's like, of all the slaves, of all the celestial dragons, he's the only one that doesn't have any slaves. And he's a bizarre man, that one. But then again, the Don Quixotes have always been weird. I mean, homing 30 years ago descended to the lower realms, to those bug people. It's like a weird family. I don't even like talking about it, And, which this brings up something with the speculation that Mostergaard might have not actually changed his position, but this almost hints that he might actually be telling the truth, because he doesn't mention anything like that. Something about Mostergaard's like personality is anything other than what he actually is saying, because he's saying he doesn't have any slaves. And I mean, he could have any kind of slave he want, maybe not all fishermen or anything. So that's an interesting point that could be maybe speculated on. He could be hiding everything, and we'll never know until it's revealed. But anyway, Kuma is revealed to be the former king of the Sorbet Kingdom, which then means that Queen Mother Connie is either his mother, grandmother possibly, but that's less than likely. But yeah, so that's it's interesting, and like Rosward just kind of goes overhaul, and it's like, oh, I have the invincible slave. It's like you can hit him, hits him with a hammer. You can stab him, stabs him with a sword. Poor Kuma. I know he probably doesn't feel any of it, but we feel it. We feel it as a community. We don't want our bear boy to be abused like this. Well, anyway, the old lady, like she had rushed in earlier, and she's like, infiltration complete. But I can't believe I ran into him like that. And it's revealed it's Jewelry Bonnie. It was her old lady form. Which then brings up questions, because she's like, oh God, I can't believe they did that to him. I won't forgive them. Never. And it's like, so what kind of relation does she have with Kuma? Because, I mean, obviously she looked like the Queen Mother. Otherwise the disguise would have never worked. On a guard, anyway. Maybe. I don't know. But, so it's either she is actually Kuma's, like, mother. And, I mean, he's probably 40-something. So it would add up, and she can manipulate her age anyway. Or she is possibly his lover, to some extent, his daughter, maybe. The lover thing is a little harder with the whole Queen Mother angle, but if it's his daughter, and then it's like, oh, but they don't look anything alike. Well, guess what? Resemblance with your grandparents can actually skip a generation. So then your parent may not look anything like you, but you look almost identical to your grandparents. And maybe that's how she can pull off this disguise. So yeah, and that goes on a little bit. Charlos is like, Father, I'm dying, let's hurry up. Well, anyway, underground, in the same general area, we have the revolutionaries, which seems to be only a force of 4. Yeah, 4. Sabo is obviously irate, finding out what just happened, what they found out about Kuma, and they're like trying to calm him down. And he's like, how can we calm down when what they did to our friend, to the kind Kuma? And we actually see Kuma smiling, and I can't believe I missed that in my reaction. Well, anyway, we find out like they're just underground in one of Morley's like little cavernous areas, and he's like holding up the roof and stuff, which then shows that like his power does not necessarily harden per se, but he makes like a little like table and a little like platform for himself. So we really need explanation on what his powers are. I still think it's like a clay thing, but it could just be like that he can just kind of like soften like dirt and stuff and be able to, mold it a bit more. Well, anyway, obviously they're trying to speak reason to Sabo, and Karasu is like, even if we free him, he won't be the same person that we once knew. And they're just not really that happy about it in general, but still, it Morley brings up like Kuma, his life was forfeit to the government, and so you kind of figure maybe they can't do anything, but that line never made sense to me. But because he was, and Lindbergh brings this up, it was because he was a king that was aligned with the revolutionaries. That's why he was made an example of, and it's just it's like, yeah, see, this is what will happen to any of you. We turn you into a robot, and then you become a forever slave. But something that brings up about all of this, and it really kind of weird, is okay, he was a king, so he was aligned with the government, and then he joined up with the revolutionaries. But then why would they allow him to become one of the warlords? Obviously they knew who he was, and the whole tyrant name makes a little more sense now when you think, like, kings and dictators are usually referred to as tyrants if they are cruel to their people. So the tyrant name makes a little more sense now, doesn't it? But anyway, Lindbergh's like, we're the Celestial Dragons, even if we can like do anything against them, they do have the Marines in like CP0 on their side. So if we get captured, it's gonna be bad. And Sabo's like, there is no messing up here. We do this or we die. So they're all stern and everything. Well, anyway, get a little more overview of like, and it's more repeat information. It was a whole page of it basically, just talking about like Reverie itself, organization of the world, and like we get a nice picture of the world as we see it. Where they are right now, the Red Line and the Grand Line, the New World, the various oceans, all that kind of stuff. And where they all intersect, and then the flag, and it shows like how, telling us yet again that the world government is a combination of 170 countries, which is kind of weird because there are only 50 kings who are attending the Reverie, so that's not even half. So, what's going on? Are some of these kingdoms so small that they don't have any representation? Because that's pretty bad. But maybe like some of their close, neighbor allies will represent them in some way. I don't know. But anyway, and you know how it's only happens every 4 years, and they're now having a conference, and it's finally started. We see 2 unknown royals, and they're talking about like Wano and how it's not affiliated with them in any way, and they're kind of even wondering if it's really even a country at all, because it's fairly lawless. Well, it's lawless by their standards. We have no idea until we actually go there. And we see Wample smiling at Dalton, the picture we see later, you don't see them anywhere close. I don't even see Wample at all. So, his glare is almost unwarranted at this point. But, so yeah. And then they start talking. This one unknown king is like another one. He's got a big old beard and everything. He starts talking about Big Mom's assassination, and it's like, what's Luffy gonna do next? Is he going after, Kaido? Actually, yes, but they don't know that yet. And Beers, the Russian king, he's caused quite a trouble after trouble. It's like that straw hat Luffy has. And Elizabetho is like, yep, you betcha. And they're like, why are you laughing? It's gonna slip. Well, anyway, we find out like the role of speaker, which the way it works, I'm not fully sure. I thought it was only like 1 speaker per Reverie, and then they kind of dictate, kind of like, it's like, okay, you speak. But no, it kind of almost seems like they kind of just take turns talking individually. But the first one who's starting apparently this time is our USA Representative Uncle Sam slash Abraham Lincoln Hamburger. He's like, I'm going this year. Thank you very much, Cobra. And we see some more royalty. We got Moron. What was it? Mora Ron. Weird name. The French-looking girl, the one who was drinking wine when she arrived. And you got Riku there, and then you got some London-looking UK representative. He even has like his beard is hands on a clock, so maybe he's Big Ben. I don't know. An unknown queen, a Nazi German-looking king, and then the king of Kano country, who I misidentified in my live reaction. And we get this nice spread of all of the kings and queens who are in attendance. And if you look, Steli is sitting right next to Neptune, which I find hilarious. It's so hard to identify them all, like where all of our allies and the people I actually care about, but are there. And it's like, let's start discussing, shall we? Anyway, elsewhere we find the 5 Elder Stars, the Gorosei, and they are talking about Cobra, and it's like, he requested an audience with us. And then they start mentioning like 800 years ago, like their bloodline. I always mess up their name. Nefeltari bloodline, like decided to stay down below. So they are traitors. It's like, do you think he found out anything? It's like, pray he not. If the talks go south, this is bad. And then it's like, it's been 2 years since the Summit War, and now with the situation with Big Mom and Kaido, it's like, things are getting kind of harder to contain. And the Gandhi-looking Gorosei is like, the equilibrium of this world can no longer stand. We got to start cleansing things, which either means whole countries are about to be cut loose and destroyed. Who knows? Only Oda does. Well, anyway, we find out there is a flower room in the Pangaea Castle, and which I always thought it was kind of weird that there was like just a castle. Why did there have to be a full castle for Reverie every 6 years? Well, we find out that mysterious figure a few chapters ago that looked at the straw hat that's in that like ice vault is presumably named Yum, and they were in the garden cutting up pictures of Blackbeard, Luffy, and stabbing Shirahoshi's picture. So they don't like them, which then revealed that the other wanted poster that we couldn't see with Luffy's during that chapter was Blackbeard's. And they start ascending to the throne, and they sit on it, showing that, and the Gorosei are there, they're bowing, they're like, we are here, the 5 elders are here, what is your will? And it's like, so there is a higher than high king in this world. So the whole empty throne crap from last chapter was just lip service. And they're like, what should have been destroyed long ago has now resurfaced. It's like, what have you decided? And it's like, just give us a name. And the person just doesn't say anything. And it was pointed out that, like, by, I can't remember by who. It was either Roger or Joy Boy, like I said. Or was that in my... I accidentally had to scrap a previous version of this. So I don't remember what I said at certain times. But it was mentioned during one of their videos. I only watched their first videos, not their reviews, just reaction kind of things. And one of them mentioned that this person is possibly an alien and has the same kind of eyes as Mihawk. And I totally missed that. And, it would make sense if they were an alien or something, because think about the throne. It's massive. And it's got like a needle that's pointing straight up, and it has like little stars on it. And I'm going to really have to look at like the stuff on the moon and see if we see anything that looks anything like the world government symbol, the 4 cardinal direction kind of thing. because it would not surprise me. Remember, we've seen like in that in the crap the O'Hara Library with the what do they call it? The thing that shows the solar system, that there's multiple moons. What if each one of those is a different moon, and then in the center is the planet itself, or something like that? And then that kind of hints that yes, we are aliens. Welcome to space. We will conquer your planet. I already have 800 years ago, so who knows? So that could be interesting. I did like the whole idea that it might be an alien and that they're the true final boss, when we thought it'd be like Blackbeard or something. No, he's just the penultimate boss. But anyway, it's gone on long enough. I'm sorry, and sorry for the delay. Obviously, I did the best I could. You know, just too tired with lawn work and stuff the last few days, working in the heat. It got to me. But anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Keishan Prime, and I'll see you next time. Keishlings, roll out.